Welcome to F1 Blogs. At the same time as Ferrari's highly anticipated launch, Racing Bulls made its first appearance on track with the new 2025 car at the legendary Imola circuit. While the team from Faenza shocked the paddock with a striking new livery, the technical changes and operational restructuring are equally significant. In today's edition of F1 Blogs, we take a closer look at the transformations happening at Racing Bulls and the modifications to the Vcarb02. A radical restructuring, Racing Bulls' new path. Visually, the newly branded Racing Bulls has already made a massive impact. Some believe it features one of the most beautiful liveries of the season, heavily inspired by the iconic RB16B. The bold inclusion of Red Bull's signature bulls on the nose and engine cover underscores the intention of Red Bull management to tighten the relationship between its main and junior teams. However, the real game-changer lies not in aesthetics but in Racing Bull's new technical and operational strategy. For years, Red Bull has supplied components to its sister team in an attempt to make them more competitive. Yet, despite these efforts, Racing Bulls has remained stagnant in the lower midfield, failing to make a significant breakthrough since their historic 2008 Toro Rosso victory and their shocking 2020 Monza triumph as AlphaTauri. Facing pressure from Red Bull's upper management to improve financial sustainability and reduce the financial burden on its parent team, Racing Bulls has undergone a major restructuring for 2025. The FIA is monitoring the situation closely, as rival teams like McLaren have raised concerns over the increasingly tight links between Racing Bulls and Red Bull Racing. Nevertheless, Red Bull remains undeterred. Starting this season, a significant portion of Racing Bull's personnel has relocated to Milton Keynes, working directly within Red Bull's headquarters. Laurent Mekies, the Racing Bulls team principal, confirmed that on January 2, a dedicated facility was established at the Red Bull factory for their junior team. Although Racing Bulls had already been using Red Bull's wind tunnel, the integration of staff and methodologies marks a new level of cooperation. CEO Peter Bayer has also defended the move, stating that after years within the FIA, he understands how Ferrari and Haas operate under a similar partnership model. He remains confident that Racing Bulls is fully compliant with the regulations, dismissing accusations of unfair collaboration. Despite these assurances, the FIA will have to maintain strict oversight to prevent an exchange of sensitive data between the teams. While direct data sharing is prohibited, informal conversations over coffee or lunch could create a grey area in which key information could be transferred. With the deepening ties between the two teams, further controversy seems inevitable. The Vcarb02, a refined version of a winning formula. The Vcarb02, driven by Yuki Tsunoda and Daniel Ricciardo at Imola, is a direct result of Racing Bull's restructuring. However, the transition has not been without challenges. According to Mekies, the team had to make sacrifices to redistribute personnel between Milton Keynes and Faenza, impacting the car's development. The first part of the season will be difficult, said Mekies. The car looks great, but its evolution is not as significant as we hoped. We need to focus on performance now that our new structure is in place. The most noticeable design change is in the sidepod inlets, which now adopt an inverted L shape similar to the RB20. These narrow inlets incorporate a vertical opening that mimics Red Bull's advanced cooling system. Aerodynamically, the Vcarb02 closely follows Red Bull's philosophy, featuring shorter and more sculpted sidepods than its predecessor, the Vcarb01. Other striking similarities to the RB20 include the engine cover, rear suspension, and now, the front suspension, a system Racing Bulls tested in Las Vegas last season. In essence, the Vcarb02 is a camouflaged RB20, albeit with limited evolution. While Racing Bulls would prefer access to the latest Red Bull designs, incorporating last season's championship-winning components still marks an upgrade over the Vcarb01. However, team sources have hinted at future updates, particularly regarding the front and rear wings. Racing Bulls has a history of last-minute surprises, often introducing significant modifications just before the first race of the season. If they follow this trend, the final race-spec Vcarb02 may differ significantly from the version seen in Imola. Is Racing Bulls ready for a competitive season? Despite the evident technical improvements, the team remains cautious. They acknowledge that it will take time to maximize their new infrastructure's potential. With a development path mirroring Red Bull Racing's, Racing Bulls is betting on a gradual improvement rather than an immediate leap in performance. Skepticism remains about how competitive the Vcarb02 will be. Will it truly benefit from its Red Bull ties? Or will the restructuring prove disruptive? The real test will come once the season begins, and F1 BLOGGS will be watching closely. Regardless of how Racing Bulls performs, one thing is certain: if they suddenly become a top-tier team, the complaints from rival outfits will be unavoidable. Get ready for heated debates, controversy, and potential FIA investigations. What do you think about Racing Bull's strategy and the new Vcarb02? Will this approach finally bring success to the Faenza-based team? Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the F1 Blogs YouTube channel, and activate notifications so you never miss a video. Thank you for your support.